The art of commanding ducks, number one or number two or both. I highly recommend you new guys, especially for the state of Florida, getting one of these or both of these. I've only seen number one, and it is one of the most comprehensive duck calling videos that I've ever seen, and I've seen several, but this one really does spell out how to call them, when to call them, and what calls to use. So I highly recommend The Art of Commanding Ducks. That's a Phil Robertson. This was pre-Duck Commander TV stuff. I think this was done back in the 90s, but it's a really good video. So The Art of Commanding Ducks, one or two or both, and I think they're all on YouTube. I bought mine, so I think I paid 25 bucks for it years and years and years ago, but it is well worth the investment of sitting down for an hour and watching. All right, now, let's turn that over. What's on my lanyard? Well, this is my lanyard, and I know in another video I explained what I did. This is 300-pound Japanese Jinkai monofilament, and the crimps that match. This is used for rigging big game trolling lures. I have a ton of it left over, and I needed something that would fit in a small container. Man, I love the big parachute cord ones, but they're just too bulky for me. So this is how it worked itself out. So I've got camouflage gaffer's tape because the crimps are silver. I don't want those reflecting in the sun. Barrel swivels, I think these are 125 or 175 pound barrel swivels, and then glow beads. And the glow beads basically just separate the calls. So let's get into it. Now I'm not going to do any calling for you because in Florida, the little piece of private and then the public lakes that we hunt, it's primarily ringnecks, and I've never had any luck calling ringnecks. I mean, you're either on the spot or you're not on the spot. But this first call, this is a Nightingale. It's an old cut down, and it makes the perfect sound for calling ducks. Usually the ducks, if I'm going to call anytime, it's going to be before sunrise. And the reason that is because, or actually just right at legal shooting time, because that's what this video says to do for teal and for wood ducks. The lakes and areas that we hunt, we always have the opportunities at mottled ducks, Florida mallards, Florida ducks, whatever you want to call them. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. I'll give you some of my experience with hunting mottled ducks. This is a Primos timber winch. This makes the perfect call for diver ducks. When you get into a spot and there's a bunch of ringnecks and they have avoided you and gone in with the coots or gone in behind you, whatever, you'll hear the hens barking at you. Every so often you can return the call and get one of them or two of them to jump up and come into your decoys. But on the open Gulf, redhead hens, bluebell hens all make that same kind of a sound, and this particular call for me works perfect. All right, the next call. This is a Primos blue wing, green wing, cinnamon teal. Now, I've never called cinnamon teal, but in the areas we hunt, again, we have the opportunity at blue wings, and then as you move further down the state of Florida, next to ringnecks, I think the second most harvested duck is blue wing teal. So again, in the Duck Commander video, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, guys, so I'm just passing on knowledge. In that video, it shows you how to call blue and green wing teal. The hens make the most noise. I know the call of the blue wing teal is high, abrupt, and quick, and then the call of the green wing teal is a little bit lower, but just as abrupt and quick. So this works for me. Get a good teal call. All right. Now this is an Eli Haydel. This is a wood duck call. This is the scream or the squeal of the hen wood duck when she's resting and when she's flying. When she's resting, it's kind of long and drawn out. When she's flying, it's quick. It's one right after another, and they'll give their position away early in the morning as wood ducks fly, and we'll get into that a little bit further. All right, this last call is actually a Duck Commander. It's a 3-in-1. It peeps like a drake green wing teal. I don't think blue wing drakes make the same sound. I don't think blue wing drakes make a whole lot of noise, period. But green wing drakes make that beep, beep. And again, he'll show you that in this video. It also makes the widgeon whistle, and it also makes a really good pintail. and he'll explain to you chapter and verse how to do that. The areas we hunt, every so often we'll get a crack at pintails. Every so often we'll get a crack at gadwalls. I've seen a handful of widgeon, but most all of that is pretty much down as far as South Florida places to hunt, especially those places like the STAs, TM Godwin, the Broadmoor Marsh. You've got a little bit more opportunity at marquee ducks than I think we do up here in North Central Florida. Now, if I'm doing nothing but hunting a management area in a cypress swamp and it's nothing but wood ducks, this is a Haydell. It is what the drake makes when he's on the water, and it's that squeal, it's not even a squeal, it's more of a as this says, wood duck whine. But this thing sounds really good, and I've had opportunities when I'm hunting management areas. You've got that first 1 or 2 flurries to get your limit. If you've only killed 1 or 2 and you still need 1 more to go, you can use this call and call drake wood ducks, and they'll come to you like spring gobblers do. If I don't have any problem shooting them off the water for that last one. If you do, that's up to you. But if I'm gonna put forth the effort and the opportunity to kill a limit arises, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, when I'm hunting after sunrise or just before sunrise, I'll do the teal call. I don't want to make a situation where I've got 3 or 4 teal swimming in the decoys before legal shooting time. So I wait till right at legal shooting time, official legal shooting time. In the video, he says do it before, but I wait till after because the sun's still not coming up. It's just starting to rise and crack. But I'll make the teal cadences with the peep and then with the quacks, and every so often, out of nowhere, you'll get 1 or 2 or 3, and they'll just kind of and land right in the decoys. And that may be your only opportunity to kill teal that morning, so take full advantage of it. Now, as far as calling mottled ducks, this is something I've learned over the last several years, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're sitting there, you're hunting, maybe you've killed a few, hopefully the morning's going good, and you'll hear a quack. And I mean, it sounds just like a hen mallard. So it's, that want, 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 want. That's usually a resting hen with a drake. And there may be another 1 or 2 birds with them. So what we started doing is we started mimicking them, the same exact tone, the same exact cadence, the same exact speed, and we'll answer them and constantly go back and forth. And it could take an hour. And then every so often, what'll happen is you'll hear this out of nowhere. It'll be mant, 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 mant. Get your gun up, get ready, because they've jumped and they're headed in your direction. And I can't tell you how many times my buddies and I, we have doubled on a drake and a hen mottled duck. And then 2 years ago, there was actually a blue-wing hen with them as they came to us. And they just slid right in the decoys and basically just committed suicide. So that's just a little experience of what we learned about calling. You can call till your lips fall off. But once the sun comes up, usually I'm pretty much done making noise unless we hear some mallards, Florida ducks, or we hear some wood ducks, or as luck sometimes would have it, every so often we'll hear or see a flight of pintails. And then if a big flight of teal comes in, looks at us and then makes a bank, then as they're turning, like the video says, I'll collar their tails, hit them real hard with a blue-wing teal call, and then follow up with some peeps, and then just see what happens. We don't hammer at anything unless it's mottled ducks coming at us. So that's what's on my lanyard. I hope this helps some of you guys that are getting into it. Maybe it will add what I call a trophy duck to your harvest that particular morning. So good hunting. I hope everybody had as good a season as I did, and we'll see you in the next video.